The first week of free agency has come and it has gone. And so I thought on today's show we can do our first Packers mock draft after the first week of NFL free agency. We'll know a little bit more about this team going into 2025. So we'll know a little bit more about what this team might need when it comes to the 2025 NFL draft. Before we get going, make sure you guys sub it up, okay? Our last mock draft did very well. We got 37 subs off of that video. Can we get 40 today? Okay, 40 subs off of this mock draft. I know that seems like a lot, but hey, if every single one of you that watches it and isn't subscribed hits that sub button, we could get thousands, all right? I just need a couple of you guys to subscribe. Really do appreciate every single one of you guys. Now, a little bit of a reminder, we're going to start this one off that comp picks, compensatory draft picks, got released on Tuesday. Now, what is a compensatory draft pick, you ask me? Great question. Basically, to qualify for a compensatory pick, teams must end up with more qualifying free agents lost than gained in a particular year. Compensatory picks are not divided up equally among the teams, and no team can receive more than 4 compensatory picks in a single year. So these are the Packers draft picks going into April, and they will not change from here. This is them dead set to rights. Round 1, number 23, all the way to the compensatory pick in round 7 at pick number 250. They changed a little bit over the last draft picks that we thought they had over the last couple of weeks, but this is set in stone. Saying that, let's get into it with our first round selection. Edge rusher out of the University of Tennessee. Go Vols, Mr. James Pearce Jr. falling all the way down to number 23. And I know what everybody's going to say in the comment section. I get it. Jeff Hafley, this Green Bay Packers defense, it prefers a different type of rusher, okay? More of a bull rusher, a bigger guy, a thicker guy, maybe a guy not as tall and who doesn't require speed as much. But ladies and gentlemen, just take a look at how James Pearce Jr. tested at the NFL Scouting Combine. I mean, he scored a 9.35 relative athletic score. His broad jump is out of this world. His speed is out of this world. And sure, he doesn't weigh the most, but guys, just give him a year or two in the National Football League. I guarantee you he can put a little bit of weight on. All I'm saying is I have all the belief in the world in James Pearce Jr. And if I'm sitting there at 23 with the need of pass rusher that this team has, there is no shot I'm passing on James Pearce Jr. I'll pick him 10 times out of 10. And I'm not just saying that as a Tennessee alum, okay? I think he's going to be special. The way he wins with power, the way he wins with speed. He's an unreal talent, has a crazy athletic ceiling, and I'd love to see him on this defense. Let me know in the comment section down below, would you draft James Pearce Jr.? A simple answer will work. Give me a yes, give me a no. Just let me know in the comment section. Let's go to round 2, shall we? Pick number 54 overall. Give me Alfred Collins. Defensive tackle at the University of Texas, horns down. But for this segment, let's go horns up. He had 55 tackles in 2024, 1 sack, 18 pressures. And what I love most about Collins is that he showed out in big games. When you look at his box score in the quarterfinal game against Arizona State, sorry, producer Jack, and the SEC championship game against the University of Georgia, that's when he had his best games. Okay, and my take on this entire thing after these first 2 rounds is this front 5, it needs improvements. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Both of these selections give them those improvements, in my opinion, in year 1. I'm not saying that they make that unit a top 3 unit in the National Football League, but they definitely help it, and I guarantee you both those guys can and will contribute in different ways in year 1. Let's go to round 3. Another need for this team, wide receiver. That's why I'm taking Jalen Royals, the ex-receiver out of Utah State University. What Jalen brings to the Green Bay Packers will be this, some track speed. Unreal track speed, that is, okay? And I'm not just talking about track speed as in he's very, very fast in a 40 time. I'm talking like football speed as well. A lot of people can run a fast 40, but when they get the pads on, when they're one-on-one, they kind of lose a little bit of their speed. He does not. He's a true vertical threat, and he's a true X receiver. With Christian Watson out of this lineup for probably the first 11, 12 weeks of the season, you're going to need that. Let's give you a little bit more on Royals, okay? A foot injury ended his season short. Now, I do think it was nothing to be that concerned about. I feel like probably a good bit of the reason that it ended his season in October was because he knew he was going into the draft and kind of wanted to save his stock a little bit. However, the 4 games leading up to the injury, he amassed 666 yards and also found pay dirt 5 times. This guy's special. He knows how to score. When you get the football in his hands, he can do some wonderful things. We all know that wide receivers in need, so tell me in the comments section, name a wide receiver that you want Green Bay to draft. Is it Royals? Is it Higgins? Should they go at round 1? Let me know in the comment section. Let's talk another need. Cornerback. So I'm taking Zy Alexander, a Tiger out of LSU, pick number 24 in round 4 of the 2025 NFL Draft. And this is a name that I think not a ton of people know right now, but I think come draft time and honestly, after a couple games in the 2025 season, I think more people will know him. Okay, in 2024, he had an 82 coverage grade. He allowed 204 receiving yards only. He allowed a passer rating of 53.2, only 2 touchdowns given up, and 15 defensive stops. He had a phenomenal year. It was a very bright spot in what otherwise was a very dark side of the football with the LSU Tigers defense. Now, Nate Hobbs did get signed on Monday. I know that, 4-year, $48 million deal. But Nate Hobbs is more of a slot receiver. Nate Hobbs is more of a Swiss Army knife. You know, you bring him up to the line of scrimmage. Sometimes he can play a little bit of free or strong safety. Zy Alexander, in my opinion, is more of an outside corner. He's very long, very, very talented in press man coverage. Let's go to round 5, the last 4 picks of the draft. They start with Nick Nash, wide receiver out of San Jose State University, and Nash had quite the year. 1,300 receiving yards, 104 catches. He averaged 13.3 yards a catch, and he also found the end zone 16 freaking times. I think Nash has all the potential in the world. Okay, I think one of the reasons Nash won't get picked prior to the 5th round is because he went to San Jose State. But I think if he was a guy that went to Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama, any of those big schools, and even put up 2/3 of the numbers that he did, say he just got 1,000 yards playing for the University of Texas, I think he'd be a first-round pick overall. But I think he slides to 5. He's a little bit smaller. He went to a really small school, but I still think his ceiling is there. And I would love it if Green Bay chose him in that 5th round. Real quick, I want to shout out every single one of you guys because we crossed 2,000 subscribers on Thursday. I just got 2 words to say. Thank you so much. It's been so much fun over the past couple months, I guess month and a half, growing this channel. I couldn't have done it without every single one of you guys who have joined me along this journey. And if you haven't yet, I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it. It's free to do. Hit that sub button and join the already 2,000 subscribers. Let's go back to the defensive side of the football. Let's stick on the offensive side of the football. And let's draft center Jake Majors out of the University of Texas. Round 6, pick number 198. I think Jake Majors can be a starter and will be a starter in year 2. I don't know if he's a guy, and he's picked in the 6th round, so I don't know if you expect him to be, but I don't think he's a guy that comes in here year 1 anywhere in the National Football League and starts. And I don't think that's going to be the plan in Green Bay. Right? You just signed Aaron Banks to a 4-year, $77 million deal. You're probably going to move Jenkins to the center position. That's not Jenkins' natural position. We all know he's naturally a guard. So that's why I think you get Jake Majors, a guy who has been the pinnacle of consistency for the University of Texas, right? He has been such a just anchor of that offensive line for the last 2 years, was up for the award for Best Offensive Lineman, the Joe Moore Award, and then in college football. And so I think after a year of Jenkins at the center position, maybe it goes to Jake Majors after that because I think he's going to be really, really good in the NFL. Let's go back to defense now, okay? No lying this time. Let's take Ty Robinson, pick number 237. In 2024, he had a pretty good year. 37 tackles, 13 of those were for loss, 7 sacks, a forced fumble, 42 pressures. But what I love most about Ty Robinson is that size. Almost 6'6". He's a little bit over 6'5", 288 pounds. I have a feeling, and I believe a lot of you do too, when you see that size and you see how he's built, he is the quintessential Packer. Okay? We know this franchise loves just big, beefy interior defensive lineman. That's exactly what Ty Robinson is. He has the ability to get to the passer still from that interior spot, which I believe is kind of a lost art as of right now. So Ty Robinson, getting him early or mid-round in the 7th, I think is a wonderful selection. Let's round this one out, shall we, with Jalen Walker, linebacker out of the University of Indiana, pick number 250. Now, Jalen Walker's one of those guys who was just a tackling machine. 82 tackles on the years, 2 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. He followed Curt Cignetti from James Madison to Indiana. I don't think he plays linebacker, though, in the National Football League. I think he's too small, 6'1", 218. What I think Jalen Walker can, will, and should be used as is kind of a gadget guy. At that size, I kind of see him playing more of that linebacker safety hybrid that you use him in dime or nickel packages. And I think he's athletic enough to cause disruption at both of those places, okay? He's not big enough to be an every down linebacker. I don't think he's fast enough to be an every down safety, but he's the perfect size, speed, and has the perfect amount of athleticism to be kind of in the middle of those, alrighty? Do me a favor, grade this mock draft with an A, B, C, D, or F in the comments section down below. I'll give myself an A. Would love to hear if you guys agree. As always, thanks for watching. Love getting to do these. We're only like a month and a half away from the NFL draft, and I promise you, we're going to have it all covered right here at the Packers Report by Chat Sports. So for the best coverage you're going to find anywhere else on this platform, make sure you guys do one thing for me. Subscribe.